wanted to tell you guys about this lady who came into the restaurant about a week ago, and she was with her daughter. And as they were finishing up lunch, I asked them, like, do you guys want desserts or coffee? We had the best desserts. And the mom got excited, but she was a little bit older. The daughter looked at her and she said, Mom, you can't have dessert. And she was like, remember what happened last month? And so the mom looked at me and she was like, man, I felt like I was dying last month. She said, 4 years ago, I was struggling with incredible blood sugar levels, and I found out I was diabetic. And she was having all these like blackout episodes. And she said, then it went away for a little while, took some medicine, it went away for a little while, so I really didn't pay attention to it. And she said, about a month ago, I didn't even notice it, but I started to crave all this chocolate. She said, I just wanted chocolate all the time. And she said this over and over. She said, I felt like I was dying. And she's like, I had no idea. She said, I went to go eat lunch with a friend, and my friend told me, you look terrible. And she said, I feel like I'm dying. I've been eating a lot of chocolate lately. And so sure enough, she went to go check her blood sugar levels, and they were like out of this world again. And she was like, now I got to pay attention to what I'm eating. And so I was just, talking with her about that. I was like, diabetes, it's such a tricky disease, or any type of like insulin resistance, even like when our gut bacteria gets off, they just want to feed themselves. Like our body kind of tricks us into going for these high caloric foods, like, right? People who struggle with diabetes, like, it's like their biochemistry is like tricking them, in a sense. You just feel hungry all the time. And also it's interesting when you go to study like Alzheimer's, dementia, how much sugar we crave when people are struggling with Alzheimer's, dementia. Like the brain needs so much energy. And it's so interesting. So that's why I'm always talking about the amino and the fatty acids, because like our bodies like crave to be in a state where we just want to relax. Like we want to be in that resistant state. We want to be in the state where like it feels much more comfortable to not move, to lay down and relax than it is to go for a walk. It's a lot more comfortable to eat, or easier, convenient to eat fast food that tastes a lot better than all the effort that you'd have to go into, go to the store, get the ground beef, get the eggs, whatever it is to make yourself a healthier meal. We're always like tilted towards this resistance, or this darkness, this light resistance. And especially when it comes to diabetes, that's why I'm always talking about that. But I just found it interesting that she was like, that she shared that with me, because of course it got me excited. Not many people, I guess, would get it as excited as I was, but I just found it interesting. She said, I was eating so much chocolate, I just couldn't stop, and I just felt like I was dying. And, I remember learning, like, about even the ketogenic diet was discovered in the 1800s, or maybe even earlier, to treat epileptic seizures, which is like it's a miscommunication of energy being distributed in the brain, low oxygen levels. And so, they started to treat these patients that were having seizure, hundreds of them a day, with a ketogenic diet, and it helped them tremendously. And then I started studying Dr. Mary Newport's work with Alzheimer's, dementia, and she treated her husband with coconut oil, medium chain fats, to help restore the signaling communication within the brain. And it's interesting, after people have strokes, a lot of the times, like, they ask them to draw like a clock, and they are unable to draw a clock, or their numbers are all distorted everywhere, and they can't, do the basic functions. Who are you with no memory, You don't know. But she documented his ability to redraw this clock when she was giving him coconut oil. And he was able to slowly but surely draw the whole thing, and she reversed his symptoms of Alzheimer's, dementia by a few years. So, it's incredible. It's also just incredible, like, if you struggle with fatigue, or if your hormones are off, if, like that lady said, if you just feel like you're dying, like you just wake up and you're just so tired all the time, and there's not enough time in the day, look at those amino and fatty acids, those animal-based proteins, those medium-chain fats. It could save your life, you know? But I just thought that was interesting, and I wanted to share it. So I send you all my love. Me personally, I just thought really quickly about the biochemistry, like the biochemical cascades. Like every single morning you wake up, like our cortisol is supposed to be spiked, so we're supposed to feel very wakeful in the morning, and as we go throughout the day, our melatonin comes up and we feel more tired. But if you're missing this spike, you know, and animal-based proteins like satiate your body so that you don't feel like you're starving and you don't feel like you're lacking anything, because that's what minerals and nutrients do. They help us to feel full, and so your biochemistry won't trick you. But anyway, that's all I got. You can like, share, and subscribe, but as always, I do wish you the best of luck.